Listen to me. I don't care what you've been through, how deep the wound, how long you've been hurting. That scar you're carrying, that's not something to hide. That scar is not weakness. That scar is proof. Proof you made it. Proof you didn't fold. Proof the pain came, but it didn't win. Some of you out here walking around ashamed of what you went through, hiding your trauma like it makes you less. Let me tell you something. Your scars are your badges. You earned them in the fire. You earned them when nobody showed up. You earned them when life hit you so hard you couldn't breathe, but you got back up anyway. Don't you dare let the world make you feel broken. You're not broken. You're battle tested. That scar, that's your survival story. Somebody needs to see it. Somebody's going through what you already made it through, and they need to know it's possible. You see, some of us are waiting to be healed before we move, before we speak, before we leave. Nah. You leave from the scars, not the perfection, because perfection doesn't inspire anybody but scars. Scars tell the truth. They scream, I've been through it, and I'm still standing. Let me be real with you. The scar didn't come to shame you. It came to shape you. You didn't just survive the storm. You became the storm. And now you walk different. You speak different. Why? Because you've earned it. Your scars are not the end of the story. They're the beginning of your purpose. So wear your scars proudly. They're proof you're stronger than what tried to break you. Let me talk to you for a minute. See, people walk around ashamed of what they've been through. Ashamed of their past. Ashamed of the pain. Ashamed of the moments that nearly broke them. But I'm here to tell you today, don't you ever be ashamed of your scars. That scar in your heart, that scar in your mind, that scar from the betrayal, the loss, the failure, that's not weakness. That's strength. That's survival. That's proof. Yeah, you heard me. It's proof you survived. Because let's be real. That thing that tried to destroy you, it had every intention of ending you. It came to break you. That storm came to steal your joy. That heartbreak, it came to make you bitter. That setback, it was designed to make you quit. But here you are, still breathing, still fighting, still showing up. That scar you carry, it's the receipt that says, I paid the price and I made it through. You're walking around thinking your scars are ugly. You're trying to cover them up, hoping nobody notices. But listen to me, that scar is beautiful because it means you endured something and didn't let it define you. That scar means you fell down, but you didn't stay down. That scar means you cried, but you didn't quit. It means you were hurt, but you healed. And healing doesn't mean the pain didn't happen. Healing means the pain didn't win. Some of y'all are letting people make you feel like you're less because of what you've been through. But let me flip it for you. It's not that you're less. It's that you've been through more. You've got more experience, more wisdom, more fire. That scar's your story, and your story is your superpower. The world doesn't need more fake perfection. The world needs your truth. You didn't survive for silence. You survived for impact. Somebody right now is going through what you already came out of. They don't need a fairy tale. They need the real. They need someone to stand up, scarred and all, and say, look, I've been through it too, and I made it out. And if I made it out, so can you. You see, the scar doesn't make you weak. It makes you dangerous. Because once you know you can take the hit and keep going, ain't nothing that can stop you. The worst already came for you. It tried to bury you. It tried to bury you, but it didn't realize you were a seed. And now you've grown. Now you've leveled up. Now you've become the very thing that pain was trying to prevent. So I need you to stop hiding. I need you to stop shrinking. I need you to stop pretending it didn't happen. Own it. Walk in it, let your scar speak. Let it tell the world I've been through hell. And I came back stronger because real strength isn't about pretending you're unhurt. Real strength is saying, yeah, I hurt and I healed. Real courage is saying, yeah, I was broken, but I rebuilt myself. Real power is when you look in the mirror, see that scar and say with your chest, I'm still here, I'm still standing. And still here, I'm still standing, and I ain't done yet. That's what a scar is. Not a weakness, a reminder, a lesson, a legacy. Your scars are proof that you survived. You thought it came to kill you. You thought that heartbreak was gonna break you. You thought that loss, that failure, that betrayal was the end. But let me tell you something that you might not see yet. What tried to destroy you was actually developing you. That pain wasn't punishment, it was preparation. See, in the moment it hurt. I'm not here to downplay that it was real. It shook you, it dropped you to your knee. It made you question who you were, what you were doing, and why it was even worth it. But now that you're still breathing, now that you're still moving, can't you see it? That pressure, that was refining you. That storm, it was sharpening your vision. That setback, it was stretching your capacity. That heartbreak, it opened up space for you to love yourself again. You wanted comfort, but growth doesn't live in comfort. You wanted peace, but strength is forged in chaos. You wanted the easy route, but greatness only grows in resistance. Sometimes life has to break you to build you, you hear me? The old version of you couldn't carry the weight of your calling. That old you, too soft, too distracted, too worried about what other people thought. So life said, let me strip you. Let me test you. Let me push you so hard you either break or become unbreakable. That pain wasn't the enemy. It was a tool. And now you're wiser. Now you don't flinch when things get tough. Now you don't fold when life gets loud because you've already been through the worst and it didn't stop you. You went through fire. Instead of burning up, you came out refined. You went through hell, and instead of quitting, you found out who you really are. That's the truth. It didn't destroy you. It developed you. And the most dangerous kind of person, the one who's already survived the thing that was supposed to end them, that's you. You're dangerous now. You're solid now. You got layers now. That broken heart gave you depth. That loss gave you focus. That failure gave you fuel. You thought it was over, but it was just beginning. So stop looking back with regret. Stop asking, why me? Start saying, thank you. Thank you for the pain, because now I know I can carry weight. Thank you for the loss, because now I know how to win with humility. Thank you for the silence, because now I know how to hear myself clearly. The storm didn't come to destroy you. It came to build a warrior in you. What tried to bury you? Only planted you. And now you're growing through it. That's the mindset. That's the truth. It didn't destroy you. It developed you. Let me break this down for you real talk. The scar, that's your evidence. That's your proof. Proof that the pain showed up in your life. But more importantly, it didn't stay. You didn't let it stay. You didn't let it take over. You didn't let it define you. You didn't let it finish you. See, a lot of people confuse pain with permanence. They feel something, they go through something, and they think that's the end. They think that moment defines the rest of their life. But that's a lie. You hear me? Pain is temporary. It comes like a storm, sudden, loud, shaking everything, but it's not supposed to live with you forever. And you're scarred. That's how you know it passed. That's how you know you went through it and you came out the other side. It means the bleeding stopped. The wound closed. The pain lost its power. And you gained yours. People look at scars like reminders of something ugly. But let me tell you something different. That scar is the moment you took your power back. That's the moment healing began. That's the line in your story that says, yes, I suffered, but no, it didn't stop me. When you see a scar, you're not looking at failure. You're looking at endurance. You're looking at survival. You're looking at survival. You're looking at victory in silence. And here's the truth. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means you've outlived the pain. It means the thing that used to hurt doesn't have control over you anymore. It happened, but it no longer holds you hostage. Some of y'all still living like you're wounded, still walking like you're bleeding, still moving like the pain is fresh. But your scar says otherwise. Your scar says you're not in that moment anymore. That trauma, it's not your home. It's just part of your history. That heartbreak, it's not your identity. It's just part of your becoming. You've already outlasted what you thought would crush you. You've already healed more than you realize. You're stronger than you think. And your scar is the quiet reminder of how far you've come. So stop rehearsing the pain. Stop reliving the moment. Look in the mirror and say, yeah, it happened. Yeah, but it didn't stay. And it sure as hell didn't stop me. The scar is the mark that said, I faced it, I endured it, I rose from it. That scar isn't just about pain, it's about power. And don't ever forget this. The scar proves the pain paired, the warrior remained. Let's be real. Let's stop playing it safe for a minute and speak the truth. You survived what would have crushed most people. The fact that you're still here, still breathing, still grinding, still hoping. That's not something small. That's not something you just brush off. That's power. And I need you to recognize it. You're sitting here thinking your life is average, that your story doesn't matter, that your struggle is something to be ashamed of. But I'm telling you right now, you're a walking miracle. You've been through stuff that would have had other people checking out. You've been through nights where you couldn't sleep, days where the weight was so heavy you didn't want to get up, seasons where your soul was tired, and guess what? You didn't fold. You didn't quit. You didn't quit. You bent, but you didn't snap. You lost people you loved. You faced betrayal. You hit rock bottom financially, emotionally, mentally, and somehow you kept going. You didn't see the light, but you kept walking through the tunnel anyway. You didn't feel strong, but you showed up anyway. You didn't have the answers, but you didn't give up. And that strength. See, people out here measuring success by money, by titles, by applause. But let me tell you what real power is. Getting back up when no one clapped for you. Real power is pushing through depression, through anxiety, through trauma, saying, I don't know how I'll make it, but I'm not stopping here. You survived what some people didn't make it out of. You're here despite it all. You're despite it all. That means you carry something inside you that can't be bought, can't be taught, can't be faked. You carry resilience. You carry grit. You carry experience. You carry a fire that life tried to put out and it's still burning. So why are you playing small? Why are you doubting yourself? Why are you acting like you're average when you survived the unthinkable? You are not your pain, but you are what you did with it. You are not the struggle, you're the survivor. You are not the trauma, you're the testimony. Some people wouldn't last a week in your shoes. Some people would have quit after the first heartbreak, the first loss, the first rejection. But you took hit after hit and you're still standing. And that tells me everything I need to know about you. You're different, you're chosen. You're powerful, not because life was easy, but because it wasn't. And you're still here anyway. That's real. That's rare. That's power. Listen to me. I know you went through hell and I know you've been hurt. I know you've got wounds that you don't talk about, things you bury deep so nobody sees them. But let me ask you something. What if your scar isn't just about you? What if your survival wasn't just for your story, but for somebody else's breakthrough? You sitting here thinking, nobody wants to hear what I've been through, but that's a lie. Somebody's out there drowning in the same storm that almost sank you. Somebody's right now bleeding from a wound you already healed from. They don't need a superhero. They don't need a superhero. They need someone who's been through it and can say, I know how you feel, and here's how I made it out. That's you. That's your role. That's your responsibility. See, the world's full of filters and fake perfection. Everybody pretending they're okay, smiling through the pain, smiling through the pain. But that's not real. And real recognizes real. When you show your scar, you show people that it's okay to struggle. You show them that it's possible to hurt and still heal. You show them that you can be bruised, but not broken. Your scar is your testimony, and your testimony carries weight. It says, I've been through pain and I'm still standing. It says, we're not alone. I see you. It says, if I can survive this, you can survive this, you can too. Oh, don't hide that. Don't waste your experience. Don't silence your story. Your pain didn't come to punish you. It came to prepare you to lead someone else through their own valley. You don't have to be perfect to inspire people. You just have to be real. You just have to be honest. You just have to be willing to say, this is what I've been through, and this is how I climbed out. Because you showing your scar gives someone else the courage to fight. You opening your mouth might save a life. You showing up transparent and healed might be the very survival guide someone else needs. So stop hiding. Stop pretending you were never heard. Own your story. Speak your truth. Because that scar you carry, it's that scar you carry, it's not a shame post for someone else's way out. You've already survived it. Now help someone else survive it too. Your scar is not a secret. It's a signal that healing is possible and hope is real. Let me break it down. Stop thinking you gotta be perfect to make an impact. Stop thinking you gotta have it all figured out before you step up, speak up, and show up. You don't inspire people with the highlight reel. You inspire people with the real, raw, unfiltered truth. Nobody connects with perfection. Nobody grows from someone who's never struggled. People don't need flawless. They need faith in the middle of the fire. They need to see the pain, and then they need to see the power that came out of it. Because listen, the pain wasn't the end. The mistake wasn't the final chapter. The breakdown wasn't where your story stopped. That was just the turning point. That's where purpose was born. You went through it, and now you got a voice, a testimony, a message. And that's what inspires, not the suit, not the speech, not the stage. It's the struggle. It's the part where you almost gave up. It's the moment where you felt like quitting, but you did it. That's where people see themselves. That's what gives people permission to believe they can rise too. See, people need your scars more than they need your success. They need to see the journey, not just the destination. They need to know it's okay to be broken because they're broken too. But if you're pretending like you've never fallen, if you're out here acting like you've never cried yourself to sleep, if you're always presenting the polished version, you're robbing somebody of the hope they could have received from your process. Your pain wasn't wasted. It wasn't random. It wasn't just suffering for the sake of suffering. That pain was an assignment. It was the raw material. And now it's time to use it, not to impress, but to impact. You turn pain into purpose. You turn loss into fuel. You turn breakdown into breakthrough. And that's what changes lives. So stop chasing perfection. Nobody's moved by perfect. Be real. Be honest. Be vulnerable. Because that's where transformation happens. Not in the image, but in the truth. You want to inspire. Then be willing to say, yeah, I've been through some stuff, and here's how I turned it into something powerful. That's what they need. Not your perfection, just your purpose. Let me tell you something that will shift your whole mindset. That scar you've been hiding, that's a trophy. Yeah, you heard me. It's not a flaw. It's not shame. It's not failure. It's victory. You see, you didn't just survive something. You won a war inside of you. A war between quitting and pushing. A war between fear and faith. A war between who you were and who you had the courage to become. And that scar, that's proof that you fought back and won. Some of y'all think trophies only come in the form of awards, applause, degrees, followers. Nah, the real trophy, they come with pain. They come with silence. They come from fighting battles nobody saw and still showing up like nothing happened. You had to fight through nights where you were screaming into a pillow just to hold it together during the day. Let's kill the lie right now. Healing does not mean forgetting. You hear me? It doesn't mean you erase the memory. It doesn't mean you pretend it didn't happen. It doesn't mean you ignore the damage or act like it didn't hurt. Nah, healing means you no longer live in the hurt. It means the pain doesn't control you anymore. It means the tears don't own you anymore. It means the person who walked away the moment that broke you, the failure that crushed you, it doesn't define you anymore. See, too many people think they haven't healed because they still remember. But let me tell you something. You're supposed to remember. That memory, that's your reminder of what you made it through. You just don't react to it the same anymore. That's healing. Healing is when you can talk about it and not shake. Healing is when you can walk past that place and not break down. Healing is when you see their name and feel peace, not pain. Healing is when you realize, yeah, it happened, but it doesn't hold me anymore. Don't let anybody tell you you're not healed because you remember. The goal was never to forget. The goal was to overcome. The goal was to take that pain, rise above it, and build a new story. One where you're not the victim anymore. You're the victor. Overcoming means you took what was meant to destroy you and used it to develop you. It means you faced the storm, and instead of drowning in it, you learned how to swim in deep water. It means you cried, but then you stood up. You broke, but then you rebuilt. You questioned everything, but then you found purpose again. Healing isn't a moment, it's a journey. And if you're still on that path, that's okay. The fact that you're still walking, still growing, still believing, that's victory. So stop waiting to forget. Stop waiting to feel nothing. That's not the goal. The goal is to feel it and still choose peace, to remember it and still choose purpose, to know what it did to you and still say it doesn't own me anymore. That's real healing. That's overcoming. That's the kind of strength that can't see, but you know it's there because you live it every single day. You're not the same. And that's the point. You didn't forget, you overcame. Everybody wants the results, but nobody wants the process. Everybody wants the spotlight, but nobody wants the storm. Let me tell you something real. You weren't made in peace. You weren't shaped by the easy days. You were built in the storm. You didn't grow when everything was going your way. You didn't become who you are when life was smooth. Nah, you became this version of yourself, the strong one, the focused one, the relentless one. When all hell broke loose, you became you in the chaos, not in the comfort. It was when they left you. It was when the door slammed shut. It was when you had to cry in silence and fight with nobody clapping for you. That's when the real you showed up. See, comfort doesn't build character. Comfort doesn't teach resilience. Comfort is where dreams go to die. But the storm is what makes you real. The storm shows you who you are when the lights go off and the pressure turns up. And you, listen to me, you didn't fold in that storm. You stood. You stumbled, yeah, but you stood again. You didn't run. You didn't break permanently. You were pressed on all sides, but you didn't pop. You endured. You fought. You survived. And every time you did, the storm was shaping you, refining you, building you into something stronger. You weren't built on the mountaintop. You were forged in the valley. You were sharpened in rejection. You were solidified in silence. You were constructed in crisis. And now when life hits, you don't panic. You don't run. Why? Because you've already been through the fire. You came through it. You didn't escape it. You conquered it. Stop wishing it was easier. Start embracing that the challenge is what made you dangerous. What made you dangerous. Start realizing that the fire didn't burn you. It built you. So when they ask how you got this grit, this fire, this strength, you tell them, I wasn't born this way. I was built this way. And the next time life hits you hard, don't get scared. Get grateful. Because you already know you were never made to be soft. You were built in the storm. You made it. You came through it. You survived. But listen, survival isn't the end goal. Now it's time to give back. Now it's time to take everything you've been through and turn it into somebody else's roadmap. Because you didn't just survive for you. You survived for the ones coming after you. See, you could stay quiet. You can move on and keep your story to yourself. But that's not greatness. That's silence, and silence helps no one. Survivors lead, survivors speak, survivors serve. There's somebody right now going through what nearly killed you. Somebody sitting in the same pain you used to cry through. They're in the storm, they're in the dark, and you got the light. You got the words. You've got the experience. You got the blueprint. So don't just walk out of the fire. Reach back in and pull someone else out. Don't just wear your scars. Explain them. Show people what healing looks like. Show them what it means to fall and rise again. Show them what it means to lose it all and still rebuild. Better, stronger, wiser. Wiser. Your story isn't just inspiration. It's instruction. Your testimony isn't just about you. It's someone else's transformation. You didn't go through all that hell just to sit on your hands and move on like it never happened. You went through it so you could teach, so you could lead, so you could empower. Don't play small. Don't let fear keep you silent. You got the tools now. You got the message now. You got the authority now. Because when someone hears your story, they might finally believe they can survive theirs. So don't just survive. That's the beginning. Now it's time to step into the next level. Become the guide. Be the example. Speak the truth. Live out loud. Because your story might just be the key to someone else's survival. Let me talk to you from the heart right now. I don't care where you come from, how much money you've got, what your title is, what school you went to. Everybody's got scars. Physical, emotional, spiritual, mental. We've all been cut. And we live in a world that tells us to hide those scars, to hide. Cover them up. Act like they never happened. But I'm here to tell you, your scars are not your shame. They are your story. They are proof that you lived, that you fought, and that you didn't quit. Some of y'all walk around thinking you're broken because life didn't go according to plan. Because you made mistakes. Because someone hurt you, left you, betrayed you. You look in the mirror and all you see is damage. You think that because you got some emotional bruises, some deep wounds, some moments you're not proud of, that you're disqualified from greatness. Let me set you free right now. You're not broken. You're battle tested. You've been through something. You survived what others didn't make it through. And if you've got scars, that means the wound is closed. That means the healing has started. That means you didn't stay down. Scars are not signs of weakness. They are signs of survival. You want to know what separates the average from the great? The average hides their pain. They pretend. They pretend. They fake strength. But the great ones, they turn their scars into power. They've been through. They own it. They say, this is where I got cut, but I kept going. This is where I bled, but I didn't die. This is where I lost everything, but I found myself. Some of you think your past disqualifies you from your future. But in reality, your past prepared you. You thought that setback ended you? Nah, That setback set you up. You thought that heartbreak ruined you. No, it remade you. You thought the pain would break you. But look, you're still standing, still breathing, still waking up, still fighting. That's what a scar is. Don't let culture fool you. The world will praise perfection, but God honors growth. And growth ain't pretty. Growth means struggle. Growth means failure. Growth means you got cut, but you kept climbing. Think about it. When you see someone with a scar, especially a deep one, your first thought isn't, wow, they're damaged. No, you think, they've been through something. You wonder what the story is behind it. You're drawn to it because scars mean they made it. So why do you look at your own scars and feel shame? Why do you hide your truth like it's something to be embarrassed about? Listen to me. The world needs real. The world is tired of fake. The world needs someone who says, this is what I've been through, and I'm still here. This is how I broke, and this is how I broke, and this is what life did to me, and this is how I responded. You've got to stop being ashamed of your survival story. You've got to stop apologizing for your scars. Because what if your scars are exactly what someone else needs to see to believe they can heal too? There's a kid out there who's going through what you went through. There's a mother, a brother, a student, a leader who's dealing with the same hell you escaped. And they're not gonna relate to your success. They're gonna relate to your struggle. They don't need your trophy. They need your testimony. You see, your scars tell a story, but not just any story. Harpreneur, a story of grit, a story of resilience, a story of faith in the face of fear, a story of progress, not perfection. You didn't get here by accident. That scar you got from losing everything, it taught you how to rebuild. That scar from betrayal, it taught you wisely. That scar from failure, it made you hungry, made you humble, made you real. Scars make you relatable. Scars make you human. Scars make you a warrior. And let me tell you, warriors don't hide their battle wounds. They wear them with honor. They say, yeah, I've been through it, but it didn't kill me. They say, I lost some things along the way, but I found strength I didn't know I had. So stop shrinking. Stop hiding. Stop waiting until you're perfect to show up in your purpose. Your pain gave birth to power. Use it. Because there's purpose in that scar. There's wisdom in that scar. There's leadership in that scar. There's legacy in that scar. And if you keep pretending, you're robbing the world of your gift. The very thing you're most ashamed of might be the most powerful part of your story. It's time to flip the script. You're not too broken. You're not too damaged. You're not too late. You're ready. So the next time you look in the mirror and see those scars, smile. Not because it didn't hurt, but because it didn't stop you. Not because you've forgotten, but because you're forgiving. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. Real people don't pretend. Real people don't hide. Real people say, I'm still here. I've still got bread. And I've still got purpose. So walk with your scars. Speak from your scars. Lead with your scars. Love with your scars. Because your scars don't disqualify you. They prove that you're chosen. They prove that you've grown. They prove that you're ready. Let me talk to the person who feels like they're being crushed right now. To the one who's sitting in silence wondering, oh, why me? To the one who's been doing everything right, showing up, grind, staying loyal, staying humble, and still life keeps hitting. Let me be clear. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. Though it feels heavy, I know you're tired. You're asking God, asking the universe, oh, what did I do to deserve this? But hear me when I say this. The pain is not here to punish you. The pain is here to promote you. See, most people want greatness, but they don't understand what greatness costs. You want strength, then life is gonna put weight on your back. You want patience, then life is gonna put you in a season when nothing moves. You want leadership, then life is gonna isolate you. Because leaders aren't built in crowds, they're built in the dark. They're built in the lonely hours when nobody is clapping, when nobody believes, when nobody sees you grinding, but you keep grinding anyway. You see, that pain is part of the process. It's not here to kill you. It's here to cut you into shape. You asked for destiny, but you didn't know that destiny comes with discipline. You asked for elevation, but didn't realize that pressure was part of the path. You thought the valley was punishment, but the valley was punishment, but the valley is where the roots go deep, and you can't go higher until you've gone deeper. Let me be real with you. You don't grow in comfort. You don't level up in safety. You don't find power when everything is going your way. You find it when you're under attack. You find it when life breaks your heart and you still get back up. You find it when they walk out, when you lose everything, when the bottom falls out and you still wake up and fight for it. That pain isn't your punishment. That pain is your qualifier. You've been asking for promotion. This is how you get promoted. You've been asking for purpose. This is where purpose is born. Because purpose doesn't show up when everything's easy. Purpose shows up when you don't quit. You thought the pain was your end, but it was your beginning. You thought the pain was rejection, but it was redirection. You thought the pain was betrayal, but it was revealing who didn't deserve your loyalty. You thought the pain was a curse, but it was the very thing God used to carve you into the next level of your life. You are not being broken. You are being built. Let me tell you something personal. I've been through it. I know what it's like to be overlooked. I know what it's like to cry when no one's watching. I know what it's like to grind with no recognition, to hurt and still perform, to carry a burden and still serve other people. And I used to ask, oh, why is this happening to me? But now I look back and realize it was happening for me. Every tear taught me discipline. Every setback taught me strategy. Every delay taught me how to trust the process. And every moment of pain was preparation. That storm you're in is developing you. It's building your mindset. It's stretching your faith. It's preparing you for platforms you're not even aware of yet. But here's the problem. You keep calling it punishment. So you treat it like pain that needs to go away instead of preparation that needs to be embraced. You keep trying to run from it, but you can't outrun the process. You can't skip the lesson and still receive the blessing. You got to sit in it, learn in it, grow in it, rise in it. Because pain is a teacher. And if you're wise enough to listen, pain will give you a masterclass in purpose. Pain will show you your weakness, but also your resilience. Pain will show you your limits and then teach you how to go beyond them. See, some of the most powerful people you admire weren't born that way. They were broken that way. They were tested. They were crushed. They were bent almost to the point of breaking, but they didn't quit. They stayed in the fire and they let it refine them. You got the same choice. You can resent the pain or you can rise through it. You can curse the storm or you can let the storm teach you how to soar. You can play the victim or you can walk out of it victorious. But one thing you cannot do is waste the pain. Because the pain you're feeling today is preparing you for platform, for people, for purpose that your comfort zone could never give you. Don't you dare let it be for nothing. Don't you dare let this moment convince you that you're not worthy, that you're not chosen, that you're not capable. The very fact that you're going through something this hard, that's your confirmation. You've been called to something greater. So stop asking, oh, why me? Start declaring, it's me because I'm strong enough. It's me because I'm chosen. It's me because I'm being prepared. This pain will pass, but what it produces in you will last forever. So walk through it, own it, grow in it, because this pain isn't the end of you. It's the beginning of the best in you. You thought it was punishment, but it was preparation. The scar didn't stop you. It made you unstoppable. You still stand, you still breathing, you still fighting. So don't you dare downplay the fact that you're still here. That scar, that mark, that reminder of what you went through, that's not weakness. That's not weakness. That's proof of your power. Let me tell you something. The people who look perfect, who've never fallen, who've never been through anything, they fragile. But you've been hit. You've been broken. You've been through storms, losses, betrayals, disappointments, and you're still showing up. That's what makes you unstoppable. See, the scar didn't kill the dream. The scar didn't stop the vision. The scar didn't rob you of your work. It revealed it. People keep trying to hide their scars like there's something to be ashamed of, like they mean you failed. No, your scars don't mean you failed. They mean you fall. They mean you fall. You hear me? That scar on your heart, that's because you love deeply. That scar on your back, that's because you carry weight others could. That scar in your mind, that's because you fought silent battles nobody knew about. And you came through it. You're still here. That scar didn't break you. It built something inside of you that can't be moved. Let me say this plain and clear. The scar was the moment you were reborn. You used to be soft. You used to care too much what they thought. You used to play it safe. But when life hit you, when the pain came, when the betrayal cut deep, that's when the real you stood up. The warrior, the fighter, the unstoppable version of you. You see, scars are a sign you've been through the battle and made it out. They mean you didn't stay down. They mean you didn't run from the fire. You walked straight through it. Every time life tried to stop you, it couldn't. It knocked you down, but you got back up. It tried to break your spirit, but you found your strength. It told you you're done, and you responded, I'm just getting started. That's what unstoppable looks like. Not perfection, but perseverance. Not flawlessness, but faithfulness to the grind. Let me be real. That scar means something. That scar reminds you who you are. It reminds you what you survived. It reminds you of the nights you cried and still got up the next morning. Of the days you were broke and still gave your best. Of the moments you wanted to quit, but you chose to keep walking. You chose you. And that's why the scar made you unstoppable. Because now when life hits again, it don't shock you. You don't panic. You don't fold. You look at the hit and you say, I've been here before and I'm still here now. You're not afraid anymore. You've already tasted the pain. You've already walked through fire. So when the storm comes back, you don't cry. You gear up. Because the scar didn't make you weak. It made you wise. It taught you how to recognize real. It taught you how to move with purpose. It taught you who to trust, when to walk away, how to build your own table if nobody gave you a seat. Hey. And listen, now that you've seen what you're made of, there's no going back to being small. You've seen your strength. You've seen what happens when you fight for it. You've seen how deep your roots go when the winds blow. You are not average. You are not fragile. You are not the same as you were before the pain. You are scarred, and that's your superpower. Because let me break it down. A scar is healed flesh. Scar is pain that couldn't stay. A scar is the wound closing, the recovery winning, the fighter rising. So every time you feel discouraged, look at that scar. Every time you feel weak, remember what you overcame. Every time you feel like giving up, speak to that old version of you who made it through. Tell yourself, if I survived that, I can survive this. If I got through that, I can conquer this. You see, the world respects power, but true power comes from pain. True leadership comes from lived struggle. True greatness comes from getting up when you had every reason to stay down. You weren't born to blend in. You were born to break barriers. You weren't built to avoid scars. You were built to wear them like armor. So stop covering them up. Stop apologizing for them. Stop thinking your scars disqualify you. They qualify you. You're not unstoppable because you never broke. You're unstoppable because you refuse to stay broken. There's a generation coming after you that needs to know how you made it. They don't need perfect. They need real. They need someone who's got the scar and still walks with swagger. Someone who's got the story and still shows up with strength. Someone who's got the past but isn't afraid to walk into the future. That someone is you. So the next time someone asks why you're so relentless, why you don't fold, why you keep grinding when others quit, point to the scar. Let it be the proof. Let it be the reason. Let it be the fire. Because the scar didn't stop you. It made you unstoppable. Your scars are not the end. They are just the beginning of your legacy. People see scars and think the story's over. They see the pain, the wound, the struggle, and they assume it's the final chapter. But let me tell you something straight. Face to face, heart to heart. The scar isn't the end. It's the beginning of the real story, the beginning of your legacy, the beginning of the part that matters most. Not what broke you, but how you came back from it. See, anybody can shine when life is easy. Anybody can post smiles when nothing hurts. But what about when life gut punches you? What about when the dream dies? When the betrayal cuts? When the loss leaves you numb? That's when the legacy begins. Not in the comfort, but in the comeback. Let's be honest. Nobody gets through this life without scars. Emotional scars, mental scars, spiritual scars, physical scars. But the truth is, those scars are not shame. They are signatures. They mark the places you refuse to quit. They show where the enemy hit you harder and lost. Your legacy isn't built in the spotlight. It's not built in the applause, the promotions, the perfect pictures. No, your legacy is built in the shadow, in the silence, in the nights you cried yourself to sleep but got up anyway. In the mornings you didn't feel like showing up but still laced your shoes and said, let's go. That's where greatness begins. That's where your legacy starts writing itself in permanent ink. Let me break it down even deeper, because this is personal. The people who impact generations aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who got knocked down, broke, rejected, laughed at, but refused to stay there. They're the ones who wore their scars like armor, not baggage. Don't hide your scar. Tell your story. Because every time you share what you've been through, you give someone else permission to heal. You give someone else hope. You give someone else a reason not to give up. That's legacy. Legacy isn't how loud you talk. It's how deep your life touches others. And guess what? The pain you went through, it wasn't pointless. The heartbreak, the trauma, the setbacks, they weren't random. They were refining you. They were shaping your purpose. They were preparing you to carry something bigger than just success, a story that saves lives. Because when people look at you, they need to see more than just the shine. They need to see the struggle that built the shine, the process, the perseverance, the fight. Think about it. Your scars may be someone else's survival guide. What nearly took you out might be the exact reason someone else keeps pushing. So instead of asking, why me, start asking, what now? Now that I survived it, how can I serve with it? How can I serve with it? Now that I overcame it, who can I uplift with it? Now that I've been through the valley, how can I lead others to the mountaintop? Because if all you do is survive, but never help someone else rise, you're not building a legacy, you're just existing. But when you take your pain and turn it into purpose, now you're building something eternal. Let me speak to the warrior inside you. Your pain has a purpose. Your scars carry a story. And your story, if you tell it, if you live it out loud, could change the world. But you gotta stop hiding behind your fear. You gotta stop waiting for the perfect moment. You gotta stop thinking you're not ready. You're ready now, because the scar means the wound is closed. It means the healing already happened. It means you're strong enough to lead now. You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You just have to be real. And real always wins. You don't leave a legacy by being the best. You leave a legacy by being authentic, by being transparent, by showing up flaws and all, and saying, I've been through it, and here's how I made it out. Your legacy starts the moment you stop hiding. Stop worrying if they'll judge your past. Stop doubting if you're qualified. You are the testimony. You are the breakthrough. You are the blueprint someone else is praying for right now. You think your life is average, but to someone else, it's an answer. And let's get this straight. Your legacy isn't what you build on stage. Isn't what you build on stage. It's what you build when nobody's watching. It's how you treat people when you're tired. It's how you keep going so when nobody's clapping. It's how you carry others even when you're hurting. That's legacy. So take the scar, take the story, take the struggle, and use it. Use it to lift somebody. Use it to lead somebody. Use it to light the way for someone still stuck in the dark. Because your scars didn't disqualify you. They prepared you to be a voice, prepared you to be a leader, prepared you to be a legacy maker. And trust me, when it's all said and done, people won't remember how perfect your life looked. They'll remember how powerful your life felt. They'll remember how your story made them feel seen. They'll remember how your words gave them courage. They'll remember how your resilience gave them permission to fight. So don't just survive. Start building brick by brick, scar by scar, fight by fight, step by step. Because your legacy starts now. And it begins with its truth. Your scars are not the end. They are just the beginning of your legacy. Your greatest power is that you're still here. Let me speak straight to your soul for a second. No fluff, no filter. You're still here. Let that hit you for a moment. Because with everything you've been through, everything you face, everything that should have broken you, you're still standing, still breathing, still fighting, still showing up. And that right there, that's your superpower. See, people talk about talent. They talk about hustle. They talk about skill, looks, money, fame. But none of that means a thing if you don't last. If you quit, if you give up, if you fold when the storm comes. But you're still here. And that's what separates the legends from the lost. Because let's be honest, life didn't play fair with you. You've had setbacks, heartbreak, failure, betrayal. You've had seasons where everything fell apart, where it felt like you couldn't even breathe, like the weight was too much to carry. You've had nights where you cried so hard your soul felt dry. Days where you walked around smiling on the outside and dying on the inside. Moments where nobody checked in. And you still checked out the mirror, wiped your tears, and kept going. So no, don't you dare downplay what you survived. Don't you dare minimize the war you fought, just to still be here with. Because your power doesn't come from a perfect life. It comes from the fact that nothing take you out. That pain couldn't stop you. That failure couldn't end you. That depression couldn't bury you. That loss didn't break you beyond repair. That's not weakness. That's unbreakable. That's power most people will never understand. You see, the greatest warriors aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who rise again and again and again and again, even when it doesn't make sense. You've risen from things that would have destroyed others. You've pushed through chapters where quitting would have been easier, but you did. And even if you crawled, even if you limped, even if you had to drag yourself forward 1 inch at a time, you moved, you endure, and endurance is the secret to everything. You can have dreams, you can have goals, you can have talent, but none of that matters if you don't last. None of that counts if you quit too early. And this moment you're in right now is proof that you didn't quit, that you still got something left in the tank, that there's more ahead of you than what's behind you. So don't sit there thinking you've peaked. Don't act like your story is finished. If you woke up today, you're not done. You're just getting started. Let me remind you of something. Every time you get back up, you become more dangerous. Every time life knocks you down and you rise anyway, your spirit gets louder. Your voice gets bolder. Your purpose gets clearer. You're not weak. You're weathered. You're not tired. You're trained. You're not broken. You're becoming who you were always meant to be. Because life wasn't meant to be easy. It was meant to elevate you, meant to test you, shape you, grow you, grind you down so you could rise as someone unshakable. You don't become powerful in the palace. You become powerful in the pit. You don't gain strength when everything goes right. You gain strength when you got every reason to quit and you choose to keep going anyway. And maybe you're looking around and thinking, I haven't achieved enough. I haven't achieved enough. But don't confuse progress with perfection. Don't confuse surviving with stagnation. Because every day you keep breathing, keep learning, keep loving, keep showing up, you are winning, even when it doesn't feel like it, even when it hurts, even when you feel invisible. You are building something. You are becoming something. You are writing something that's going to matter to more people than you even know. Because someone out there needs your story. Someone needs to see that survival is possible. That hope is real. That it's okay to fall, but it's necessary to rise. You are the proof that persistence works. That faith can outlast fear. That strength is born in struggle. You are a walking testimony of grace, grit, and growth. So when they ask what superpower is, you tell them this: I'm still here. After everything, I'm still here. Then you're not just surviving. You're building, you're evolving, you're preparing. Because the next chapter of your life isn't just about existing. It's about thriving. It's about leaving a legacy. It's about walking in purpose and power. So if you're tired, rest, but don't stop. If you're hurting, heal, but don't hide. If you're doubting, breathe, but don't forget. Your greatest power is that you're still here, still alive, still hungry, still dangerous, still ready to fight. And you don't need applause to be valid. You don't need a trophy to prove your worth. You don't need followers to know you matter. All you need is that fire in your chest, that reason to get up again. That deep down knowing that there's more inside you than the world has seen yet. So rise, speak, fight, shine, because you're still here. And that means your best is still ahead. Show them what it means to fall and rise again. Let me tell you something most people won't. Falling is not failure. Let me repeat that for every soul that's been beating itself up. Falling is not failure. Failure only happens when you don't get back up. But the moment you rise, even if you're bruised, even if you're limping, even if you've lost a piece of yourself in the process, that's victory, that's growth, that's power. See, this world loves to show success like it's smooth. Instagram success, YouTube highlights, everybody's showing the destination, nobody's showing the journey. But real success, it's messy, it's hard, it's painful, it's falling over and over again and still getting back up. That's what separates dreamers from doers. That's what separates the ordinary from the legendary. Not perfection, persistence. Listen, if you've fallen, that doesn't make you weak. That makes you human. You've been knocked down by life. So what? Welcome to the club. Every champion has, every legend, every icon, every person you admire, they've all fallen. But they made one decision. They refused to stay down. Falling will hurt, don't get it twisted. It'll embarrass you. It'll make you question your worth. It'll break your rhythm, your confidence, your spirit. But falling is also how you find out who you really are. You don't discover your strength at the top. You discover it at the bottom. You discover it when everything's gone, when no one's clapping for you, when your plan didn't work and your back is against the wall. That's when the real you shows up. Anybody can smile when they're winning. Anybody can be confident when the world is praising them. But when life slaps you with reality, when your heart is shattered, when your dream crumbles, that's the moment that counts. Will you stay down? Will you let shame or fear or failure own you? Or will you get up with dirt on your hands and fire in your eyes and rise again, and not just once, again and again and again? That's the rhythm of champions. That's the pattern of greatness. Fall, rise, learn, grow, repeat. See, your story is being written in the chapters nobody sees. It's being shaped in the quiet moments when you choose to try again. When you lace up after the loss, when you walk back into the room where you failed. This time with courage. Let me remind you, there's someone out there watching you right now. Not to see if you fall, but to see if you'll rise. Your kid, your friend, a stranger who silently looks up to you. And when you rise, you don't just inspire. You give permission. Permission to struggle. Permission to be human. Permission to keep fighting even when the odds are stacked. You don't just rise for you. You rise for them. Because let's be real. The people who change the world are not the ones who never fell. They're the ones who turn their setbacks into setup. The ones who use pain as fuel. The ones who decided, this fall will not be the end of my story. It'll be the beginning of my comeback. And maybe your fall wasn't public. Maybe it was private. Silence, suffering, hidden failure, quiet breakdowns. Even more reason to be proud when you rise. Because no one saw what you had to battle through. No one heard the doubt that screamed in your ears. No one felt the weight that pressed on your chest. But you rose anyway. That's courage. That's resilience. That's the kind of strength that can't be bought, taught, or faked. It's earned in the fire, forged in the pit, polished in the climb back up. You want to be great? Show the world how to rise. Show them what it looks like to take the hit and still move forward. To get knocked down by life, by heartbreak, by disappointment, and still wake up hungry the next day. Because the truth is this, your comeback is louder than your fall. Your recovery speaks louder than your mistakes. Your resilience will echo far beyond your failure. So let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them whisper about how far you fell. They show them how high you can climb. Use your fall as a platform. Use your wounds as wisdom. Use your history as a lesson, not a limitation. Because scars, they aren't signs of weakness, they're evidence you survived. Proof you didn't stay down. Proof you got back up and kept moving forward, even when it hurt like hell. You're still in the fall right now. Listen to me. This isn't your end. This is your end. This is your middle. Don't quit in the middle. Don't walk away when the masterpiece isn't finished. Every great comeback starts with a fall, but the fall is just the plot twist. The rise is what makes the story unforgettable. So shake off the shame, silence the fear, kill the doubt, and get up. Even if it's slow, even if it's shaky, even if it doesn't feel strong yet, get up. Because every time you rise, you get stronger. Every time you rise, you grow wiser. Every time you rise, you become more unshakable, more powerful, more unstoppable. More unstoppable. Fall and rise not once, but as many times as it takes. Because greatness isn't in how high you climb. It's in how many times you refuse to stay on the ground. So go ahead, show them. Show them what it means to fall and rise again. Let me talk to the survivors for a minute. Yeah, I'm talking to you, the ones who've been through hell and made it out. The ones who've cried in silence, fought battles nobody ever saw, and still showed up the next day like nothing happened. You've been broken, betrayed, and bruised, and yet you're still here. You survived, and that matters. That's not small, that's not ordinary. That's strength most people will never understand. But now that you've survived, let me tell you something with love and with truth. Surviving is not the final destination. It's just the beginning. You weren't put here just to make it. You were built to become something greater. You weren't created to stay stuck in survival mode. You were born to step into significance See, survival is about reacting, about getting through. But the next level, that's about creating. That's about building. That's about becoming. Survive becoming. Survive becoming. Survival says, let me breathe. The next level says, let me build. Survival says, let me hide. The next level says, let me lead. You made it out. Now it's time to step up. You've got power in you that hasn't even been touched yet. You've got ideas that haven't been written. You've got strength that hasn't been tested. You've got leadership that hasn't been unleashed, and it all starts after survival. But here's the problem. Most people get stuck. They survive something traumatic, and then they pitch a tent in that place. They stop there and say, well, I made it. I guess that's enough. But no, hear me. That's not your stopping place. That's your starting point. That's where you stand up. Dust yourself off. Dust yourself off and say, now it's time for more. More purpose, more discipline, more vision, more contribution. Because surviving taught you who you are. But stepping into the next level, that's where you find out who you're becoming. See, survival builds resilience. It gives you the grit. But the next level, that's where you apply it. That's where you create impact. That's where you take the pain you've endured and turn it into power, not just for yourself, but for the world. Some of you out there are still walking like you're broken, but you already healed. You're still carrying fear, even though the danger is gone. You're still repeating old stories about who hurt you and how they held you back, when the truth is, you're free now. You're standing, you're breathing, you're capable. So why are you still surviving when it's time to be thriving? You can't build your future with a survival mindset. You can't dream in survival mode. Survival mode just wants to get to tomorrow. But you weren't called to live for tomorrow. You were called to build something that lasts forever. That book idea you've been sitting on, it's time to write it. That business you've been dreaming about, time to launch it. That voice that's been silenced, time to raise it. That legacy you've been hoping to leave, time to start living it. Because you've already proved you can survive. Now it's time to prove you can lead. See, people are watching you. They've seen what you came through. But now they're waiting to see what you'll do with it. Will you stay small, play safe, or shrink down? Or will you rise up, go bigger, and walk boldly into your next? And I get it. The next level is scary. It requires faith. It requires risk. It requires effort when nobody's watching, and applause might never come. But don't confuse fear with finality. Don't confuse uncertainty with unpreparedness. You've already been through worse. This next season just needs your courage. You survived storms that were meant to drown you. You walked through fires that should have burned you. So don't act like the next level's too much. It's already in you. Everything you need, the fire, the wisdom, the patience, the drive, is already in you. But it won't activate until you step out of survival and into vision. You know what the next level demands? It demands belief, not in your past, but in your potential. It demands that you stop telling the story of what hurt you and start telling the story of what's possible. It demands that you stop living like a victim and start moving like a victim and start moving like a leader. So let me ask you, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for the perfect moment? It won't come. Are you waiting for permission? You already have it. Are you waiting to feel ready? You won't start anyway. Because the next level isn't waiting for you to feel it's waiting for you to commit. And here's the truth. If you don't move, you'll decay. If you don't stretch, you'll shrink. If you don't grow, you'll get bitter. That's what happens when people survive and never evolve. But not you. Not today. Today, you stop surviving and start owning. Owning your story. Owning your value. Owning your future. You made it through the storm. Now plant your flag on the mountaintop. You carried your pain. Now build something out of it. You held on when everything tried to break you. Now use that strength to lift others. You don't owe the past another second. It served its purpose. It gave you tools. Now it's time to build something undeniable. Don't just survive. That's where the story starts. Step into the next level. That's where greatness lives.